Hey guys, KiwiSylveon, and welcome back to Seduce Me to the Demon War. We're just fighting this Denethurial or whatever and stuff. Oh, and Diana learned the hard way never to try to mess with Sam. Even if she was Violet, he still saw through it, and let's just say it didn't turn out so well for her. We're still trying to learn our rage controlling, so. Immediately, Denethurial jumped back, rubbing his hand with an amused but slightly proud smirk on his face. I jumped back as well, focusing on breathing and calming down. As the red haze vanished from my sight, I looked to the approaching sergeant. I blushed a bit as he gave me a couple claps of approval.
Now you're thinking like a warrior.
I couldn't stop the wide-arching smile across my face. I felt extremely proud that I was praised like a warrior. I wasn't anywhere close to how Denethurial was, but for the work I had done, I was getting there. As the day went on, I was given more obstacles to deal with. I had to maneuver around dummies to get to my target, and then I had to fight off 2 attackers at once. It was a mind-boggling experience, but I managed to get through them in the end. However, I could tell something was on Sergeant's mind. By the end of training, Sergeant couldn't tear his eyes away from the castle. I eventually looked over to barely see a figure standing by a balcony. Who was he staring so hard at? A hand on my shoulders brought me from my thoughts. Caused me to look over at Sergeant in surprise.
You're done for the day. Get some rest. Prepare yourself for tomorrow.
I slowly made my way into the room and sat back on the bed, letting the rush of my exhaustion run through me like a wave of water. I shut my eyes and fell back onto the mattress with a soft thud. We were a handful of days away, and I wasn't sure how we were going to handle it, but now that we were apparently being tested on top of it.
You have nothing to fear from me, child.
I didn't even have the strength or care to sit back up. I let out a sigh and continued to stare at the ceiling, greeting the voice in my head with a grimace. Why are you doing this? Why not just test him yourself?
One cannot be tested if they are not ready for the consequences.
That got me to sit up. I looked at the fireplace, remembering the dream I had of Sam being burnt alive. A shudder ran through my spine as the voice chuckled.
You know what will happen if he is not worthy of my power.
But why must he take it?
He wishes to kill the abomination demon lord, correct?
My anger flared. How was this being so high and mighty of himself? Diana and Cero seemed to respect him for his power, but if he was so powerful, then why wasn't he here himself testing Sam? The voice answered my thought.
I am bound to the dark, as I have always been for eons.
Eons?
Yes, child. My kind and I have lived within the depths of the abyssal plains ever since the dawn of time, feeding off of the ashes of the dead and granting the world above us peace.
Peace? Was the being some kind of underground creature? How was it able to communicate through the fire then?
We are all powerful, child. Should we desire it, we could bring the world to its knees and drown it in endless flame.
From the power behind his voice, I could tell that he was telling the truth. A violent shiver ran up my spine as I imagined the castle and land around us completely covered in flame. The voice, however, continued.
Fear not, however. We care little for the world above.
Then why get involved now with the Demon Lord?
The Demon Lord is a mad abomination, undeserving of the power of the demon world. For what is to come, he must be eliminated.
What do you mean, what's to come?
Talking to the voice?
I quickly looked to the door to see Sam staring at me intensely. What surprised me was that he was in his demon form. I could only assume his glamour spell vanished from how much energy he had used in training. I nodded and looked to the fire. The voice was telling me about itself. It apparently lives beneath the demon world. I hope that Sam knew what it was. Whatever this thing was, it seemed to think of itself as the most powerful being in the world, which I couldn't verify if it was unknown to me. Sam, however, cocked an eyebrow.
So it's a dragon.
Wait, what? I shot my head at Sam, both confused and thrown off at its anger. A dragon. A dragon! When did that become a part of the list of demons in the world? How were dragons even remotely related to demons? Sam stared at my face and laughed before walking over and ruffling my hair.
What? You didn't think they were real?
No, I mean anything's possible at this rate, but a dragon? How is that possible? The voice in my head laughed at my surprise, but what shocked me was that Sam reacted as well to the laughter, looking around the room in shock.
The fuck?
I am surprised that you know of what I am. Oh, Maurice.
Call me Sam.
You choose to acknowledge your human name.
Yeah, I do. Got a problem with that?
Only Sam would be cocky toward a dragon.
You become more interesting to me every day that passes. Sam.
Thanks. Now why the fuck are you testing me?
Do you wish to kill the Demon Lord?
I watched as a flash of rage rushed across Sam's eyes as he nodded, pinning his gaze to the fire before us and seeing the same eyes I had seen before appear within the flames.
Yeah, I do.
Then I will grant you my power, if you are worthy to take it.
What? If I'm worthy? What's that supposed to mean?
The voice ignores Sam and focuses his attention on me.
Child, you should prepare for tomorrow. You will be tested as well.
Me? I stared into the fire, now slightly afraid of what the test this thing had in store for me. Would it have Diana disguise herself as Sam? Could Diana even do that? I didn't want to assume that it would use the same trick twice. The possibilities were endless. I shook my head and took a breath. I had to be strong and show it that I wasn't afraid. Alright, I'll be ready.
Such confidence for a human.
Hey, watch it. With that, the eyes vanished from the flames, and Sam looked at me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders.
You alright?
No, I am not. I was nervous. There was no way I could have been alright. I didn't know what was planned for me, what I was expected to do. I shook my head, looking to the ground. I don't know what it would want from me. Sam grimaced and wrapped his arms around me.
Hey, you'll be fine. I'm sure you can pass whatever it's planning, no problem.
I nodded softly. I had to breathe. Everything would be okay. Literally, I had to breathe because I have an idea of what's next. As I took a deep breath, I took a moment, taking that Sam was still in his demon form. I chuckled a bit and touched his horns, which I found hilarious as they protruded from the sides of his head like handlebars. I'm never going to get used to you in this form.
Huh? Oh, shit! I forgot to turn back. Sorry!
I stared at Sam as he stepped back and looked down at his form in surprise. As he rubbed the back of his head, I could see the comfort he had in what was his true form. While it wasn't totally different from his human form, he still had horns and the incubus stained on his skin. Sam shook his head and began to charge his energy.
I'll change back.
No. Sam was comfortable in that form. If he was exhausted, then he didn't have to use more energy to glamour himself. I held out my hand and walked over, placing it at his chest and stopping him.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. You don't have to. Sam stared for the longest time before smiling and nodding. I was happy to know that he was considerate enough to consider my feelings, but if he was happy in his true form, then I didn't mind sleeping beside it. As I looked at him, though, a dangerous curiosity crept over me. I need a drink. Oh, God. I had never really thought of making love to him in this form. In his human form, absolutely. But not with him as the demon he truly was. Would it be different than what I expected? Would it be exactly as I imagined it? I bit my lower lip, let the curiosity fester in my mind a bit.
Huh? What's with the look?
I did notice the expression my face was making as I stared at Sam's body. It caused me jerk and gaze up into Sam's eyes and shake my head. Huh? Nothing, nothing!
Nothing, huh?
Sam slowly began to stalk toward me, forcing me to step back and eventually lean against the wall with him placing his arms on either side of my head. I was trapped and could only stare up at my captor.
I think you're staring at me and thinking bad things.
I felt my heart rush into my throat and silence me as I gazed into Sam's emerald eyes, which so dilated in a small formula. Now I'd done it. Sam chuckled and leaned in close, touching his nose to mine.
So, you gonna tell me the truth?
Sam thought he had the upper hand. However, I knew how to make him go crazy. I leaned forward and locked lips with him, making him gasp against my mouth. I slightly wrapped my arms around his neck and pulled him close, letting him know that he was right and that he had better make good on my thoughts. Sam pushed forward, growing softly and pinning me to the wall with his body. I felt my hands roam his skin. It was so strange. There was no difference in the texture of Sam's green marks from his skin, almost as if the marks were a part of his physical new appearance. Still, I could feel the power Sam carried just from touch and passion alone. Sam was definitely strong, and he only reaffirmed my mental assessment as he gripped onto my hips and lifted me higher on the wall and made me wrap my legs around him. Unconsciously, I gripped onto his horns, causing him to growl almost animalistically against my lips and make me gasp at the sound. I stared wide-eyed at Sam, seeing his eyes glow slightly. Did it hurt you?
No.
I became lost in his eyes as he began to deeply enthrall me. The small ring of green around his lustful blown pupil glowing gold as the spell took hold. I released a heavy moan before gripping his arms hard and pulling him back to me for a kiss. These kisses became eager and wild, like grabbing a hold of his horns was a turn-on for him. Was it? Sam zipped us back to bed with his inhuman speed and settled himself with me in his laps and him sitting against the bedpost. His hands began to wander along my body, trying to control themselves from simply tearing through the fabric dividing us. In my own desire and need, I quickly forced myself away from Sam's lips and touched my nose to his, staring deep into his eyes as I began to undo every bit of clothing and strip them off of me before tossing them to who knows where. Thankfully, he was already bare for me, so that was one less outfit in our way. As I finally became fully bare above him, Sam wrapped his arms around my waist and adjusted himself to kneel on his knees, me straddling over him. We didn't even need play to know that this was going to be a rough ride. No matter how many times I played through this a lot. No matter how many times I play through it, this part always makes me blush. Brother. Hello, Sam. Hello. Hello, babe. Gotta get that. I sewed my hands back onto Sam's horns, my lustful eyes burning into his as he guided me and smirked a toothy grin at me.
You better hang on.
That adds to the... I get hot. Whew. As my entire body became rushed with ecstasy, I couldn't stop the loud and wild moan escaping from my body or from my eyes rolling back in wild euphoria. My world rocked with waves and pulses of pleasure and desire. The room around us, the smell of sweat in the air, it all became irrelevant as I made hard love to the man beneath me, clinging to his horns like handlebars. Handlebars Sam! The harder we went, the louder we became. My vision was blurred in pure ecstasy as I could feel nothing but pleasure rushing through me and Sam and Sam's horns within my grasp. Soon the entire room almost quaked at the sound of our passion. As we peaked, we released a simultaneous scream and howl of carnal euphoria before wrapping our arms around each other and panting wildly. The sweat between us tingled with the heat in the air, making us shiver in each other's arms. I was in utter bliss as Sam soothed me and held me close as he very slowly tucked us beneath the bedsheets and held me close to him, allowing me to recover from the experience. Fucking Demon Cell was definitely a new experience. I cuddled into Sam's embrace, nuzzling his chest and almost purring happily at the warmth that emanated from it. Sam kissed my head and chuckled.
You alright?
I could only nod before feeling myself pass out. Sam followed soon after. Both of us became lost in the dark void of slumber. Ugh. Michaela, you killed me. You killed me. You killed me, man. You killed me. I had to be ready for the trial. I half expected to wake up to Diana to be disguised as Sam as the morning came. However, as I woke, I was happily in the arms of the man I loved. Despite the tired fog over my vision, I could sense that the man who was holding me in the arm was holding me was the true Sam. The way he held me gave it all away. As he pulled my body close to him, I giggled, knowing Sam was awake. I know you're awake.
No, you don't, you doofus.
I laughed and kissed his nose softly, causing Sam to open his eyes. As he gazed into my eyes and smiled, I felt my heart completely swell in joy. I had almost forgotten all about the day ahead. All I wanted to do was stay in bed with him a little longer.
Morning.
Morning. Sam lazily leaned forward and kissed me before pulling me to his chest and sitting us both up.
Come on. Time to get up.
Do we have to? As I asked, I could sense a new determination from Sam. Something about him seemed confident despite just having woken up. I tilted my head and placed my hands on his shoulders, curious as to why that was. Hey, what's got you so energized? Sam turned his head and looked in my direction, giving me a surprised look himself.
Huh? What do you mean? I'm always energized.
Well, that's good to hear.
Oh, God. Go away, Diana! Sam and I looked over at the doorway to suddenly see Diana leaning against the archway, holding 2 large plates of food. I was surprised she was able to carry them. Both plates were piled with food that looked absolutely delicious. Sam and I practically salivated at the sight before Sam shook his head and glared at Diana.
You ever learn how to knock?
That's funny, because that's the first response you can technically do to her.
Well, we have a lot to do, so I figured knocking would only waste precious time. My apologies.
Diana walked over at last and handed us our plates before stepping back and crossing her arms. Sam began to chow down as I took the slower approach to eating what I was given with a laugh.
So, are you prepared for your test, dear?
That made me stop and look up at Diana. She knew that I was next. She already devoted herself to the dragon before, so it wasn't surprising, but maybe she knew exactly what was in store for me? I couldn't be sure. Do you know what my test is? Diana nodded and Sam looked up to see her answer. I gulped, now a bit worried. Can you tell me?
Unfortunately, no. I cannot. If I could, I would, dear.
I grimaced, looking to the fireplace and knowing that the dragon was probably watching. I half expected him to answer for Diana, but he didn't speak. My mind began to fill with ideas of what it could be about. What was I going to be tested on? How was it going to go down? Would I have to fight? All of the possibilities lingered in my mind as Sam finished eating.
Hey.
I looked at Sam, feeling him rub my back gently with a strong hand. I felt some comfort in the gesture and more from the smile on his face.
You'll be fine. I believe in you.
Yes, Sam! I was happy to know that Sam believed in me and supported me. I gave him a loving peck on his lips, causing him to stare wide-eyed with a blush. I had to giggle at the sight while Diana rolled her eyes and let out a groan. Diana, however, looked to the fireplace.
I will say this, though. It should be easy for you.
Huh? it should be easy. Diana nodded before turning around and looking over her shoulder to maintain eye contact with me.
Yes, that is, if you believe in your love.
Shut up about my love. I stared wide-eyed at Diana before she turned and walked away, leaving me and Sam alone. I grew curious and concerned, but I had to let it go for now. Let it go, let it go. Yeah. The test was apparently tonight, so I had to wait. I expected today's training to be full of fighting and brawling, just like last time. However, as I left the castle, I spotted Sergeant sitting on the ground, looking down at a bowl that had multiple lit sticks of incense burning in it. The color seemed to mesh into smoke that rose from their lit ends, blending into a dull gray color before fading into the air. It was almost mystical to watch. Bleh. As I walked towards Sergeant, I noticed that he seemed entranced by the lit incense bowls, focused on the smoke emitting from it. What had him entranced? Not wishing to disturb him, I stopped on the other side of the bowl, sitting down and very slowly looking into the bowl as well. The incense sticks had different scents and that occasionally clashed or blended together in harmony. I could barely make out each earthy tone and every spice the smells emitted. Just letting the scents filter into my nose made me slightly dizzy. What was this?
Men's itinerary.
Huh?
It's a test. Every brute demon goes through it when they are ready to be an adult. Mostly, female brutes do it before they become hunters, and males do it before they become guardians.
I looked at Sergeant as he finally turned his eyes up to look back at me. He had a stern look in his eyes, which made me nervous. What did this test have in store?
Only those who can master their rage will live through this test.
There was the rub. I became a little panicked. It had only been 2 days of training. How was I able to go and pass the test, whatever it was, and live? As Sergeant saw the fear obviously stretched across my expression, he glared harder.
Are you doubting yourself already?
No. I wasn't sure what to think. Did Sergeant really think I was ready to do this test, whatever it was? I barely got the hang of rage energy. Sergeant shook his head and let out a sigh.
If you're not sure, then don't bother. Just leave. I'm not going to waste my time.
His words stung, but I knew that he was serious. This was my chance to show him, and myself, that I was strong enough to protect myself, at least for this war. I just needed to swallow my fear and do as he said. But what if I wasn't ready? What if this test proved to be fatal? What if I die before I have the chance to survive? I didn't know what I was walking into. I know what we're walking into. The next episode. Because I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to get everything down to pat. And yeah. By now, the first part, like, the next part of this, well, the first part that I recorded earlier, yesterday, I think, or the day before, should be up, and I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to finish this all, I think, this morning. It's like 5 in the morning. Well, it's 4 in the morning right now. And edit it when I get back home from work tomorrow, or today, or whenever. And then upload those. I do have James and Eric's side, like, epilogues. I will do those, since I did them too right after Sam, so. And believe me, one of them you might need a Kleenex for, because your nose is going to bleed. So. Remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!